Dope. All right. Round of applause. Thank you, Serge, for putting that together. I didn't even know that was real until like 5 minutes ago, or there was one of those. But now let's go ahead and slideshow. All right. So if you guys didn't know, this is like one of the entry templates for slideshows. I don't usually create slideshows, and I did not spend a lot of time on this, but I wanted some bullet points to go behind what I was saying. So I'm going to kick this thing off. If I thought I had all the answers, I'd be a day trader. Right, so I'm not up here saying I know everything, but I am saying there's some things I've done that I think can hack your time and hopefully save you some energy. Because at the end of the day, I'm in this business right now. It's not necessarily to work forever. I'm going to continue to move money around, but I want to use the next 3 to 4 years to buy the next 30 to 40 years of my life back. Does that make sense? So that's my focus point. I'm not saying I'm going to be in solar forever. Like Michael O'Donnell says, I'm selling what is moving, and right now solar is moving at a fast rate and for a high clip. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? There's something to be said that by working through the darkest times, something lasting is created. I don't know if any of you guys can resonate with that, but I've been in the industry for about 5 years now, and there's not too many people that are still around today that started with me, and that includes a lot of extremely talented people. Because hardships in their life came up, things weren't always so easy, and they could not continue to stay on the path, right? That's just part of the game. So we're going to go over what's your purpose. I'm going to tell you your purpose. Raise your hand if you've heard find your purpose. Have you guys heard that? Like, you got to find your purpose. Does anyone else resonate with me? That's pretty freaking hard to figure out what your purpose is. Like, that stuff has never made a lot of sense to me, and I've never been able to dial it down. But what we heard earlier today goes along perfectly with what I already had planned. So who am I today? And then we're going to go over my story, how I got to where I'm at, which this is just page 1, man. I'm still just getting started. Winning the war within. Kill what's killing you. I got that tagline from Michael O'Donnell, but all the stuff I say, and I'm going to go over today, the techniques, the strategies, that stuff's really hard to implement and be successful at and consistent with unless you kill the things that are killing you. And then creating culture. Has anyone here heard of Spartan Solar? You got a couple hands? All right, man, it's the name of the game. It's branding. You got to get out there. People have to know your name. We just started this company 10 months ago, and we were just a couple guys in a living room. But I'm going to start off with know your purpose for going into business. Your purpose is independence. Just write it down. Your purpose is purely independence. You do not go into business for yourself. You guys are all in business for yourself today if you do not want to achieve independence in your life. You want to remove that thumb from on top of you to where you could do whatever you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want. That is the main purpose and the main objective you should have by being in business for yourself, because what we do is really hard. So don't let anyone fool you. You want to be your own boss, and you want to build financial independence for you and your family. Don't wait for the manager or leader or owner of the company to promote you. You need to promote yourself. There's a big fallacy that people think like they need to get some certain title to do certain work. You guys need to start today by already acting as if, and then you will be. That's how I promote everyone in this company. It's really when people start taking on the charge, they start recruiting, building, they do all those things. You are in the business for yourself, and you should build your business. Recruiting is your number one job after you learn how to sell. Has anyone recruited anyone in their company? I see Cav, you've recruited a few people, right? What's up, man? So guys, recruiting is your number one business. That has been the life hack for me staying in this career path for this long. I think it's the only way to do it. People talk about burnout and talk about all these things. I'm going to go over my story, which connects the dots for you guys. But the truth of the matter is if you're recruiting and you're consistently helping other people and you're putting them into better situations, you're not going to feel the burnout because you got someone else to fight for. The person that I fight for has changed over time, but you really do need to focus on recruiting. It's going to make you it's going to make you a lot better because it's going to start bringing the subconscious thoughts and actions you take to a conscious level because you have to teach it to someone else. If you guys have ever taken a math class, for me that was financial accounting. Absolutely hated it, but I would grind right before the exam and I would learn everything and then I would teach someone else. I would teach someone else. If you've done that, you know what it does because then you don't have to tell them why this answer is right, but why all these answers are wrong. And when you can do that, you become significantly better. Yes, they're going to get a better grade because I helped them, so I served them. But at the same token, I'm going to probably get 100% on this exam because I know why every single answer was wrong and I know why it was right. So you do need to recruit for yourself and for other people. It's going to make you last a lot longer in this business. You need to make money and save money. I failed at this for 2 years. Well, I was able to make money. First year, I made more money than anyone else at the first company I was with. That's just a fact. But I didn't end up with a lot of money. Second year, I didn't make that much more, but then back then in the day, we were getting paid $72.50 a panel. Have anyone been around long enough to have those kind of paychecks? It's like the average system size out there is about 20 panels in California, so we're making on average about $1,500 a job. So you got to sell a lot of solar to make money. I think the first month I made right about $24,000 to $26,000, right? So you got to sell quite a bit of solar. The first year I made $155K. Second year I made $165K. It didn't really, my income didn't continue to go up as I moved up in roles. So watch out for that little trick. If you're moving up in positions, but your income's not going up, be real smart about where you're spending your time. It's easy to fall into that trap. So I failed at that for 2 years. You want to build security for your family. I failed at that for 2 years as well. Reason I bring this up, they talked a lot about investing your money and feeling good about where you place it. After 2 years of doing this business and making quite a bit of money for most people, especially back then in this industry, I ended up negative $10,000. How much is negative $10,000? What do you need if you're negative $10,000? Anyone know? You need a credit card is what you need. I called Discover. I'm like, yo, Discover, I promise you I'm making a lot of money. Just give me another limit. And then they threw me another credit card. And I was just like feeling really weird about it because here I was at that time for the company before I left it. I moved up to director of sales, and there's a whole story behind that. But here I was with no money in the bank, negative bank account balance, and I was taking out a secondary credit card. My Honda Accord, my beautiful Honda Accord Sport, mind you, it was fast. That lease was ending. So I had to go to a Honda dealership, and I was like, I need another Honda. They first rejected me. Man, now I'm negative $10,000 and no car, and I'm this guy that, did all this stuff and had some success, and, I'm trying to make a name for myself. I want to be somebody, and now I feel like a nobody. Luckily, Honda was like, dude, you did pretty well in the last car. We're just going to give you one, but your credit's really bad because I drove up all my limits. So that's the position I was in after 2 years. Not good. So you guys want to make sure that you focus on this because my goals and what I was focused on, which I'm going to go over shortly, was not the right thing. And it cost me a lot of time, money, and energy. And man, most people probably wouldn't survive those downward spirals, and they'd probably go to something that's going to be a little more safe, the 9-to-5 career path. So if all you want to do is make a living, you're crazy to get into business for yourself. Write that down. Seriously, that's it. If all you want to do is make a living, you need to have some fun with this. We've recently in Spartan Solar started getting into some other deals, right? We started meeting some people, got a lot of us in some venture capital deals. We're going to continue to push into new ventures to where we have a place to put our money. Because if you're just making a living and that's what you're saving up for and that's what you're spending your time trying to get, it's going to wear you out. Burnout is loser's talk. But if you fail to know your purpose, you might just become a loser and burn out. Okay? We all talk about burnout. That's fair. We've seen people experience it, but the truth is it is loser talk. And if you don't find your purpose, which I just told you your purpose, what's your purpose? What's your purpose? One more time. All right, it's independence, dude. You got to have financial independence. So who am I today? And then we're going to backtrack and go backwards, and I hope I did this stuff in a good order. So Alex H. Smith, you can reach out to me on Instagram. That's where I live. That's where I've built all my businesses from. If you guys do not leverage social media, you're screwing up. Shout out to Little Surge. I got the Surges here for... round of applause for this guy. Yeah. Man, it made my life a lot easier when I have a whole team putting together my social media and I can just get to be me and have the camera crew follow me around. That stuff makes it way easier. But you got to build your social media up. But life will make you average and ordinary if you'll take it. You can't just keep taking it, right? Life will beat you down, and it will make you average and ordinary. And I'll explain how. So I'm going to go over who I am today, and I'm going to start with the things that enabled me to get here. So I'm sober. I haven't drank since June 6th. So that allows me to actively continue to discover. Yeah, I'll take a round of applause for that. Now, guys, I wasn't some raging alcoholic that was out there every single day, right? I wasn't just, getting wasted every night. But I would go out on a Saturday night, and, man, I would be hungover until Wednesday. Sunday, my day was Uber Eats and bed. I was just a gremlin crawling out, just trying to get my food, come back in, hoping no one saw me, and I'll go back to bed, man. Drinking was a bad problem for me. It really slowed me down. I started to sense my cap, right? My cap, I felt like was about $600,000 or $700,000 a year if I continued to drink. That's how much I could make. That's how much I made. That's what I thought was this is about as I realized these problems deep down for a long time, right? You can feel them, you sense them, the things that are taking and holding you back. But my cap was right about there. There's no way around it. I wasn't going to pass $600,000 or $700,000 in a year. I just knew that to be fact. I had to change something. So that's why I put that one first. I do believe I'm in full alignment almost all the time. There's sometimes I'm not, but I really try to be. This is when what I say, what I think, and what I do all fall in alignment. It's like if you say you're going to work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., but you don't do that, you're not in alignment. That's going to cause a lot of stress. It's going to cause a lot of turmoil, anxiety. You're going to be anxious. Maybe it'll make you depressed if you repetitively don't do the things you say you're going to do. So figuring out ways to be in full alignment, I could never do that without being sober. I never have 2 bad days in a row. Raise your hand if you ever have 2 bad days in a row. I never have 2 bad days in a row. I freaking mean it, man. I'm going to show up that next day. I know the things I need to do every single day to feel good. I know what my foundation is, which I'm going to go over later. But you guys need to start saying this out loud. If you're on my team in Spartan, you know I've told you 1 million times that I never have 2 bad days in a row. Have you guys heard that before? Why do you guys think I say that over and over again? I got to remind myself, I don't. It's just something I don't do. I'm going to show up the next day with that energy, whether I feel it or not. Like, this isn't a game when you're a leader and you're in front of people that you can show up for 1 week and then not show up the next. You're going to lose people. You're going to lose retention. You're going to lose yourself along the way. You cannot have 2 bad days in a row once you get to a certain point. Maybe as just a sales rep for a little bit you can, but there's going to become a time where if you want to step up and get to the next stage, dude, you truly cannot have 2 bad days in a row, and you need to find a way to eliminate that. I work out 5 to 6 days a week. I don't know if you guys know this, but I work out. Okay, that's important to me. That's something I do every single morning. And I tell people I'm powerful all the freaking time. I say it to way too many people every single day. I say it to Sophia every single morning. I tell her how damn powerful I am. I also tell her I'm the Iceman, because if you guys like Wim Hof, like I take an ice cold shower, I'm like, I'm the Iceman too. I don't know why that gets me going, but it gets me going. She agrees. She's like, oh, you the Iceman. I'm like, yeah, I'm the Iceman. So, guys, I'm saying I'm powerful every single day just to throw that out there, create that energy for myself. Then I take that cold shower, and it's just something I'm doing just to create this every day so I don't have 2 bad days in a row. Now, with all those things being said, I'm the owner and CEO of Spartan Solar. We started this company in March. We were just a couple guys in the living room. We ended up doing 6 megawatts in 2021, so in 10 months. Most of that came in the last 6 months. We have 45 reps as of today from just a couple dudes. We'll be at 100 reps by June 1st, and we'll do at minimum 15 megawatts in 2022. And I think these are minimums because as I continue to compound my skill sets, like I just know the growth is going to be exponential. So that's a little background on where we're at today. So my story, life will make you average and ordinary if you take it. You just can't keep taking it. Again, so I was at FSU. I was a triple major in drinking, drugs, and girls. I was good. Don't give me a round of applause. That stuff carries with you way longer than you think. In January of 2017, I got into solar. That was when I first got my start. Did not expect to knock doors. But one thing I did that was a little trick that's fun to do. Someone told me they made $10,000 their first month. This guy, Andrew Zambetti, he tricked me in moving out to California. And so I started telling everyone I was living with that I took a $120,000 a year job. Everyone in college, all my friends, they're taking 60, 70K a year jobs. I just blatantly told everyone when we're 100% commission based, dude, I just took a 6-figure job out of college. 120,000 guaranteed. Obviously that wasn't the case, but I was able to trick myself into believing that. And I've always wanted to be somebody. So it's true, man. If you don't want to be somebody here, it's going to be really hard to become somebody. Then you'll just end up being anybody or nobody. So what I mean by I always wanted to be somebody, like my first motivation not only was making $10,000 that first month, like I really wanted to do that, but I wanted everyone back. I wanted everyone back at FSU to be talking about Alex Smith and the things he's doing, because I feel like I peaked in my bubble at FSU. I was Zeta King sorority chair, was a Rush chair, Zeta King sorority relations chair. I just did everything that involved recruiting and things I do today. But like I was at a pinnacle in this small bubble. I wanted to be at the peak in a bigger bubble. So I've always wanted to be somebody. 2019, I started from zero again. That's when I left the first company. Started from zero, which if you guys haven't done that before, it causes a lot of anxiety, a lot of angst when you have to start fresh. But you gain a reference point. Has anyone listened to David Goggins? Right? So it's like you can go into that cookie jar and grab something you've experienced, something you've done before, and pull from it. So when you start from zero and you're not the person that quits, because quitting is a habit just like winning is. When you continue to go from zero and build back up, you have another reference point. So you can leave it all on the line the next time and know that you can do it again. Because once you have that belief and conviction after doing it once, it becomes easy to do it again, which gives me no fear in the things I do and the decisions I make. If I spend too much money on investing in my people and investing in my company and it all falls to shit, I'm not worried that I can't do it again. Like, I'm not worried about making money. That's not a thing anymore. I'm playing a different game now because I have reference points. 2021, I started from zero again. It's like, shoot, I just did this. I just built this one company up. I did all these things, and then I did it again, and then now I'm back to zero again with nobody in my living room, and it's just me trying to figure out what to do. But I've done it twice, so I could do it again. When I left the next company, I gave up about $400,000 to $500,000 a year in what some would consider passive income overrides, right? Whatever you want to call it. Based off things I built, that's how much money, not including my own sales. I just said, hey, just keep that money. I'm going to go start from zero again with absolutely no money. For a lot of people, that can sound kind of daunting. It was scary as hell to me because when you get used to getting $10,000 a week and you go back to zero, it kind of sucks. You got to look at a bigger picture and play a different game because it's not exactly what you think it's going to be. And then I invested that year. I invested about 130, I don't know the exact number, 130 to $150,000 in personal development. So I went from guaranteed quite a bit of income to less of a guarantee, but investing way more in myself. The other companies I was with, one thing I noticed, especially the last one, is that they kind of held me back as far as, and I brought up, you guys know Sam Taggart, right? So I met him. I ran 14 miles with him in Keys, and I was like, I kind of love you, man. What are you selling to me? Inner Circle, okay, 25 grand. I brought it up some of the leadership at the previous company, and they just kind of said, that's not a good idea. It's a waste of money. You can get everything you need here, right? That's like the company trying to keep their circle tight. Have you guys experienced that before, where they don't want you to seek outside influence because they're afraid you might leave them? That's what was happening. I didn't realize that was happening there, but that's what was going down. And so as soon as I started investing in myself, everything really changed. All right, so now we're going to go over some of the journey, winning the war within. So I started in January of 2017. This part's a little bit harder to talk about because I don't talk about it very often, but I think it's important because, you guys might go through hard stuff yourself. So I started in January 2017. I became a manager there in 4 months. And I was continuing to sell, and I didn't have any anxiety. Like, I would just get out there every day. Like, I just would push, move, and go. Like, I never experienced any angst to get out to the doors. It just wasn't a thing then. Things were so easy. And then in August of 2017, so I don't know how many months later, my cousin there, Ryan Marcel, he was, my best friend. He's 3 years older than me. Me and him basically lived the same lives from different places. He went to different schools than I, but we did the exact same things in all stages growing up. So he was my best friend. I could not wait to bring him out to the first company I was with. I could not wait. We kept talking about it. There's all these things that we're just super excited about, our future together, investing together, yada, yada, yada. And then I got a text from his sister, Alexa, one day. I just got done. I set 10 appointments this day, and I closed 2 deals. So I'm driving home at night, like super like, all right, I'm going to close another 5 tomorrow. That's all I'm thinking about. And I get a text from her, and she was like, hey, we can't find Ryan. I'm like, what? We can't find Ryan? He's fine. He's good. Like, he's Ryan. Like, he's an athlete. Like, what do you mean you can't find him? He's good. And I was like, don't worry about it. He's fine. And he wasn't fine. The next day, I come to find out him and his girlfriend, they both fell off a mountain and died. Right? Things got really fast for me because it's like I've never experienced that kind of trauma, especially with someone you think is going to be around for the rest of your life. The thing that did to me, besides make me question absolutely everything I was doing, right? You start pondering on why you're doing the things you're doing. And all of a sudden, all the things you thought were important become sort of meaningless. And it caused a big problem because I knew this is the person I wanted to become, but because of this, I lost this person I would talk to and I would explain and share all my wins with. I lost that person. It made it almost impossible to get back to work. And so that was like a really big hit for me that I had to push through and cause a lot of issues. So a year later, in August, I was on a memorial hike for my cousin, and I was in Aspen doing the hike for him because that's where the mountain was. It was called Knife's Edge. If you've heard of that mountain, it is. Once I looked it up, I understood what that mountain could do to someone. But a year later, my dad passed away of cancer. So that was my final final moment ever with him. That was when I was a wee little rugrat. Super excited to be there. But That was the next big hit in my life within a year. Then within 6 months, both my uncles, both of his brothers, Rob and Greg, passed away. So I was just getting slammed like left and right. And man, after my dad passed away, he was the guy I worked really hard for. Like every time I would sell a deal or make $10,000, whatever it was, I would call him. It wasn't my mom because it's just a different relationship, right? Mom loves you, and no matter what, my dad was like, I just want to make him proud. And so I lost that influence, that guide. So I no longer was able to get to work for myself. I'm talking like serious anxiety and depression. I thought those things were fake. Like I thought those were really fake. So I was like, this is a real thing because my mom used to bring it up. I used to hear about it, and this might resonate with you guys. Like, a reason I tell the stories because it's just like, you know, once you go through it, I just think it's like valuable to hear these things that happen to other people because you're not alone. I realized anxiety is real because I can no longer get out of bed and do the things I said I was going to do. Have any of you guys ever experienced it where you say you're going to do something, you have all the intention, you go to bed and you go to do it, and then the next day you're like, I can't show up no matter what? That's what was happening to me over and over and over again. And you can't get a hold of me. Like, I'm not answering my phone, text message, calls, nothing. 0 people could talk to me. And then I started experiencing depression, which I guess they kind of fall in sync with each other, which is when I won't leave my bed, I won't do anything. And so I started looking for distractions. And my number one distraction back in the day that I could lean on again was drinking and girls. That was it. I'm like, this is what I'm good at. I'm going to focus on this stuff again so I can think and do the things that are going to take me away from whatever pain I'm experiencing. So I'll just go drink and find girls. And I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs that, you know, I needed alcohol. I needed to find girls to feel good, to feel like I was doing the right things. And so all these things were just like accelerated by what had just happened in my life. And I experienced it, and I didn't know what to do about it. So there's a lot of things that I had to start doing to make progress here. I even had some self-limiting beliefs. A self-limiting belief is something where you just keep saying it to yourself so you believe it to be true, even if it's not good for you, right? And it's something you just can't do anything about. So an example of this is just a random example, but just to kind of drive the message home. I had one hernia surgery for my umbilical hernia, got taken care of. I thought I went full David Goggins and 75 hard, and I was working out every day, running 10 miles every night for like 40 days straight. Man, it can beat up your body quite a bit, and that's kind of what happened. So I thought I had another hernia here in my groin. I was so convinced I had a hernia, like I didn't even need a doctor to tell me what I had or didn't have. I finally went to a self-diagnosis is the best way to do it if you just Google and WebMD it. Best way to live. So I went over and I went to a doctor and I said I have a hernia, and they just believed my conviction, and they're like, we'll get you set up with a scan. I never went to get a scan because business, right, work, it's kind of hard to go get a surgery when you're doing a lot of things. So I believed I had a hernia, so I didn't do anything about it for like, I don't know, 8 months, 9 months, like literally nothing about it. And then I went back to the doctor because she was like, hey, you should go get that checked again. I was like, you're probably right. Probably going to be that time before it gets really bad because it was like hurting to get out of bed. I couldn't do basic things really well. It'd just be painful. And then the next guy was like, hey, I don't think you have a hernia. I was like, serious? I was like, no way. No way you don't think I have a hernia. And he's like, no, I don't think you have a hernia. It's like, I just checked. It doesn't seem that's not the thing. And so I just looked up a YouTube video on rehab for, you know, groin hernia. I started doing these little leg squeezes. You know, those girls in the gym from the 70s? Like squeezing. That was me. That's been me in the gym for the last couple of months. I'm that guy. I just need the neon socks. So I started doing all that stuff, and all of a sudden within a week it was like significantly better, and now it's like almost normal. So I lived for 9 months with this like self-limiting belief that I have this hernia, which like severely limited the things I would do in the gym and the things I would do outside of the gym. And then in a matter of a week, once I took that limiting belief out, thanks to the help of a doctor, I was able to heal it within a week or two. Right? So you have a lot of these self-limiting beliefs in your head, and that's just one kind of extreme example, but just understanding, maybe you have to talk to the right person, get the right coach, get the right mentor, but understanding that once you get rid of those self-limiting beliefs, like you can heal and make moves and progress fast, just got to start recognizing what they are. So kill what's killing you. I've got everything it takes to win, but I've got to grow up, right? So a decision to change happens in an instant, like literally this fast. Making a decision happens this fast. But the problem is it can take a lifetime to make that decision. For me, that was drinking. I'm not saying you guys need to stop drinking. I never mean to get that message. For me, that was the thing. You know deep down what your thing is. It could be porn. It could be YouTube. It could be something else that's just holding you back from doing what you need to do. It could be just going out. It could be Tinder and Bumble. Like you just spend all your time on that, whatever it is. It can take a lifetime to make that decision, but small or big changes, making habits easy is using the environment to your favor. So on June 6th, there was a specific day. I remember I walked into the office, and we finally got an office space in Winter Park for Spartan Solar. And I was hungover, not clear, a little foggy. And I just remember this overwhelming, there's 10 new guys in the office. I now have this fixed expense I didn't have before. I just had this overwhelming feel of responsibility that I was responsible for these human success. They trusted me enough to move from different states, different locations, and they trusted me enough to go all in with me. And here I was showing up as a fraction of myself. If you guys have ever experienced that, we're not showing up 100%, and you have people that are counting on you, it hurts, man. It hurts deep down. And you do it enough, it will destroy you. And so that's the feeling I had. And it was on that date, there was enough responsibility, enough weight, it was all on my shoulder. I couldn't pass off the responsibility to everyone else, that I made that decision, which happened in an instant, to stop drinking. Like that decision happened right then. It wasn't something I can't do. I didn't want to make it so it's like forever thing, right? Because people say I'm going to stop drinking forever. And it just sounds kind of ridiculous because you don't know that. So I made my rule is I don't drink. I'm Alex Smith. I don't drink. And I'm no longer a drink till I'm no longer the owner of a company or responsible for other human beings. So that could be forever. That could be forever because I could have kids and you have company forever. That could be forever, but it's not limiting myself to forever. So that was the kind of weight that allowed me to make that change. So smaller, big changes, making habits easy is involving your environment. So here's some guys I work out with. There's like 4 other dudes here. I'm the only white guy in the group. They say I bring culture every single morning to the gym. And they're massive and they're freaks. And every day we get up at 5:45, we get there at 6, and we just get after it. Jordan, he's the leader of that group, man. I just think energy is the most contagious thing, and I'm just starving to be around an energetic group. And if I could start my day every day, and I don't necessarily believe in their workout routines because they're just ridiculous. Like, it's not my style, but I want that energy more than I care about my routine. So I go there every single morning to meet up with these dudes that are going to push me to the limit. I got Jordan, I got Jimmy, I got all these other guys, and it makes it really easy to stick to my habit of working out hard, and it makes it easy to stick to my habit of waking up at 5:45 in the morning every day because I know these guys are going to be there no matter what. And if I don't show, I'm not the guy that doesn't show up. I have a thing for myself where I show up when I say I'm going to show up. It's just the thing I do. I like to be early to every single thing. It's been implanted in me and part of me for a very long time. And so some of the things, and just to touch on habits, right? Because have you guys read Atomic Habits? So just to touch on habits, the thing that's really true that has been very impactful is creating and curating your environment around you, right? If you curate your environment carefully, things become very easy that you want to do. Let me give you some examples. I want to wake up at 5:45 in the morning every day, and I want to feel energy. I want to make sure I make it to the gym, and I also want to make sure I read a couple pages of a book, right? Those are pretty basic things, but they're hard to do every day. So the things I do to make sure I do those things, because I'm not trying to make this huge morning routine, I just want to make it enough to give me energy. Energy creates energy. If you don't use it, you will lose it, right? So the things I do every night before I go to bed, I lay out my gym clothes. Super easy, but it's easy to forget to do. But it's such a part of my body and my habits, I do it every time. So in the morning, after that, at nighttime, I put 36 ounces of water next to my bed. I chug that the second the alarm goes off. I never snooze. You will never catch me snoozing an alarm because that's the first failure of the day. So I chug 36 ounces. I go to the bathroom. I might sit on the toilet. There's a book right next to the toilet. I'm going to read a page or two. It makes it very easy to. There's also a book next to my nightstand. There's a good chance, maybe not every day, but there's a good chance most of the times I'll grab that book and read a couple pages. Those are just a couple things I do every single day to make my life and my habits easy, because the willpower is not the way, it's making it easy. All right, so what can cause a big change is environmental. Could be positive or negative, depends on who you surround yourself with and the things you want to do. Moving locations, being around top producers, investors, like AA, right? It's an example of being around people that are sober. I don't do that. I don't need that, but I understand it and it makes sense. A significant life event for me, that was June 6th. And then kill what's killing you. So those self-destructive habits, it was a vicious cycle. I would go from feeling good or bad to drinking girls to anxious and depressed. And then I was like, man, I want to feel good or bad again. So just continue to cycle, and that stuff is not healthy. I started to focus on one girl, Sophie. Thank you. That made my life a lot easier. Round of applause for Sophie. Man, that made a lot of things a lot easier. I had to make some changes. Here's a few key points here. Leaders don't get down. Leaders don't get depressed. Even if you do, you don't. Does that make sense? Because you show up every single day no matter how you feel, because you're the person, you're the commander, right? You're that person in front of them. You need to show up right. And to think you can be selfish enough to show up depressed, that's easy to show up sad. It's easy to show up not feeling. It's easy to show up that way. What's hard to do is show up with a smile. You got to make that decision because you can't show up that way. All right. I only got like 4 minutes left, and this was actually the main point I wanted to talk about. So culture, it's not about what you make, it's what you become in the process. And just like he said before, you can have whatever you want in life as long as you help enough people get what they want in life. Those are literally the things I live by. If you can guide your life off, it's not what you make, it's what you become in the process. And if you can get whatever you want in life as long as you help enough people get what they want in life. If you can live off those two things, I swear to God, it'll be so much easier for you to build everything you want. But your decisions have to be based off that. Overview. Transparency and honesty. I share everything with my people. My people know my expenses. They know how much Spartan Solar is spending on XYZ. They know my red line, right? They know everything. I'm not trying to hide it. I don't believe they don't have the lowest red line. They don't have the highest red line. We pull people from companies with significantly lower red lines than us because of our culture, right? Like I pay a price. I pay a higher red line as a company than other people because I want to be around people like Seth Grenny. You guys know Seth Grenny? Yeah, first year selling solar, he made almost $3 million in personal commissions. He's the best leader I've ever met in my entire life. And so I want to be around people, even if I have to pay a price to get that information. I will pay that price over and over again. I'm not a red line hunter for a reason, because I want to elevate faster, quicker, and be better. And so that's something that's super important to me. We co-collaborate. I meet with my leadership team every single week. Sometimes we miss, right? Like we have things that happen, but I try to meet every single week. I also don't make any decisions inside of a bottle. Or a bubble. What's the expression? Is it a bubble or a bottle? Bubble. I don't want to be in a bottle either. So I don't make any decisions without talking to a lot of people, guys. Like I don't. I'm not that person. It makes a big difference. I talk to my current leadership. I talk to upcoming leaders. Guys, if you start doing something, talking to upcoming leaders, the people really on the ground floor, that makes a big impact for me. I get so much value out of those conversations. I cannot begin to tell you. If you guys could take something from here right there, start meeting with upcoming leaders, people you believe to be the future, right? It is so impactful. Social media, create success and share it. So first you got to be successful. You can't just share bogus. You got to create success within your organization and share their success with the world. We blow up social media every single day. You guys need to start doing that. That's how you create a brand quickly. Most of the people that start with my company come in through social media. I don't actively recruit that many people, although I've started to do some things that puts me in big groups of people at a time. But this is it, man. Social media is how I built all my businesses. I live off it. Keep sharing that and have your guys. Make sure you tell them to share stuff. Make sure people are proud to rep your letters. It starts with you, who you are as a leader. They have to be proud of you. They don't follow the company. They follow the person. Leadership is earned. Become the person people want to become like. It's very simple, but it's harder to do. Become the person people want to become like. Just look at the people you want to become like and become like them. Be your own boss. You need to give people an ability to build their own business within your business, right? That is a huge hack. If you could build that with your company, that makes it a lot easier because they take ownership of the business. Because if they're just working for a manager and that manager is going to hold them down where they belong or where they're stuck and they can't get the same contract as that person, that's going to cause a lot of resistance. They're not going to recruit as much, not going to grow as much. They're not going to feel the weight of responsibility, which sometimes is the thing that causes change. I'll provide the resources, structure, and ever-evolving systems. So we have Spartan Solar 2.0 dropping in like a month or so, like a full new version of Spartan Solar, like structure, everything, right? This is going to continue to evolve because I'm going to continue to gain information and insight. I recommend everyone write down Art Williams. Start studying Art Williams. I don't want to give you too much on him because he's gold. You must believe in what you're selling and be passionate about it. Luckily, that's very easy for us. You do need to be sold on selling, though. So you got to sell your guys on selling, which is why I bring people like Taylor McCarthy and everyone else around me and Michael O'Donnell all the time. Financial independence. You got to create a vehicle for financial independence for your people. That's very easy in this business. The way of life for a group of people. That's what culture is, right? Creating a good way of life for your people, and they'll experience fulfillment, which leads to retention. People want to be their own boss. You have to create a structure that allows people to build a business within your business. You have to figure that out. Blast social media. Recruit every day. We meet as a team. We meet every day, 6 days a week, right? So we do meet every day. We do team buildings on Wednesday. We get out and play football, whatever it is. Have roles for your people, so in the meeting they have responsibilities. We invest in personal development. That we do as a company level. People do it individually. And we understand extreme ownership. A lot of people try to sell excuses, but nobody really buys them. I say that probably every day. I wanted to spend more time on this stuff because, man, Just if I could say one thing, I'll go back in time, meet every single day with your group. It's going to be really hard to create a culture if you meet twice a week. It's impossible to get the message and thoughts and vibrations to your people if you meet twice a week. It will take a long time. So meet every single day and start meeting with your leaders, upcoming leadership, and create a brand where everyone's proud to share it. That's it.